that's fantastic experience that you've had in terms of like just CEO for a day, but was there any other, because I would love to hear if you've had any other co-op experiences that really stood out in your mind, not necessarily the actual doing of or the job, but just your experience, the culture, the networking, and the people that you met.
Yeah, so I'm a huge advocate for the University of Waterloo and the co-op programs. So my sister actually she's finishing up her last term next term, or actually it'll be in April where she'll be done as well from the arts and business program. And
good for her.
Yeah, so she's double majoring in that program as well. And she was deciding between Waterloo and a couple other schools, and I was like, Waterloo is great. Like the co-op experience you will get will be great. You will learn a lot, and I think I'm still so thankful for that. And my approach to co-op had always been, I wanted to try different things if I had the opportunity to do so, because it's 16 months you're not going to get back, and it's 16 months that you can figure out how to really excel your career, and where you want to start, what you like, what you don't like. And so my last co-op term, I had always had this sort of inclination towards an international experience.
Right.
Yeah. So I was.
Yeah.
So I was very like keen on trying to go to the U.S. or somewhere else in the world just to kind of see it out. I didn't have an opportunity to do an exchange because I hadn't planned it well in advance, but I wanted to go somewhere else, and I had an opportunity to go to Manchester, New Hampshire, which is beautiful,
right.
beautiful place, and I had the opportunity to work at Riverstone, which is it's a runoff company. They do insurance type of work, and it was a great experience because I was working in their legal team essentially as their data guy, as their numbers guy. So they were a bunch of lawyers, and they gave me a bunch of data, and they're like, try to tell some stories with it. And to be honest, that's kind of what consulting really is as well. It's trying to take a lot of data and make it into digestible formats and feed it to stakeholders, which is what I was doing at an earlier stage there. The most memorable thing though, as you said, I don't want to get into what I was doing as much, it was the memorable parts about that internship. It was the first time I was living alone, really far away without my parents, just an hour away. They can bring me food and all that kind of stuff. So I had to provide for myself. I had to be able to cook and go to get groceries and all that kind of fun stuff. There were 4 of us actually living there. So what we would do is every weekend we would try and go and explore different places. So one such experience was we went to Vermont.
Nice.
Because I want to say it was about a 4-hour drive. The only thing was I was the only driver, so I liked that because I like to drive. But we were driving, we went to Vermont, saw the sunset, it was great. It was our last weekend, everything was fantastic. Until we were coming back when there's no lights on the roads, and all the roads look the same, and we're running out of gas, and we're like, what is going on here? And then we had found a gas station in one of the cities. I remember we were going towards it. We had no signal. We get to the gas station is closed. And after that, we're just like, what do we do? The car literally said, it didn't even give me the range anymore because it was a nice car. It was a Chrysler 300. It didn't give me a range. It just said, running out of fuel. Please fuel ASAP kind of thing. And needless to say, we were able to get gas, so it was good. And we were able to make it home.
Good.
But that experience taught me a lot because again, I had after that, I've never been scared of driving late at night and worrying about gas and all that situation. It was just really nice to be able to meet 3 other people from completely different programs, bond with them so well by the end of the internship, and just explore, because I think that allowed me to grow up from a professional and personal standpoint, and I think that's the importance of co-op, and that's what it can really provide you.
And I would also say the importance of co-op is helping you build those skills like problem solving.
Exactly.
So that you're not stranded without gas.
There you go.
In the middle of the night in Vermont.
It's not a bad place to be stranded, to be fair. There's a lot going on in terms of hills and stuff, but yes, I agree completely.
Yeah, and I loved your strategy in terms of utilizing co-op to explore. And like you said, you only have 16 months that you'll never get back, right? And ultimately, those are 4 times 4 months co-op opportunities where you do get that chance to find out what you really like, what you don't like, and to have that chance to do an international co-op work experience where it's different than an exchange. Exchange is fantastic, but exchange is still study, right? Where during a study term, you're studying 24/7 in the evenings and weekends as well, completing assignments and projects. But on a co-op, international co-op work term, you're working during the day, you're getting paid, but you've got your evenings and weekends free to be able to explore places like Vermont.
Exactly.
And perhaps run out of gas.
Hopefully not. Hopefully you can plan better in advance than I did there. But no, I completely agree. I think it's just, we are so privileged at the University of Waterloo to have such great connections to all over the world, employers everywhere. I know a lot of people in engineering have that California
Exactly.
like goal to reach it there for a co-op type of thing. But there's a lot of opportunities because Riverstone was not really, it wasn't a highly sought after job or anything like that. It was very competitive because again, it's an international co-op. But it's what you put in is what you're going to get out kind of thing. And it was a great opportunity for me, just being able to explore somewhere different. And I didn't think Manchester, New Hampshire really had anything when I applied to the job, but I ended up learning a lot about that area. And my parents came and visited me afterwards too. And we had a great trip up to Maine and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot you can do with international experiences, and you learn a lot about yourself as well, and a lot of skills, as you said, from a career perspective, but also from a personal perspective.
Yeah, and exactly. And you don't have to go too far for an international experience, right?
Exactly.
Like you said, just the experience of living on your own and having to have to fend for yourself to survive, but also to make sure that you're eating, you're dressed appropriately for work, right? and that you have the balance to be able to utilize your co-op work term to gain as much knowledge and build your skills as you can. And it certainly sounds like your co-op work term absolutely gave you that opportunity to really explore and really dive deep into data and data analysis, which has led to your current role at Deloitte in consulting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it was, again, as I said, at the time when I thought about a data role, it's not what you think with, traditional consulting type of positions. It seems a lot more streamlined. But the skills you get out of it are very valuable right now because honestly, in the workplace, data is key. There's so much, every day we're generating so much data of all types, and we have these wonderful visualization tools, we have these wonderful tools we can learn to basically bite-size that and make it into information, which is the key, right? And for me, being able to do that in sort of a safe environment, but also working with people of different cultures. Like they were not accounting and finance experts.
Right.
They had a lot of financial data that they required me to analyze, but they were not finance experts. They wouldn't be able to tell me what a debit or a credit meant or which accounts it's impacting or anything, but they knew they had some sort of requirements from the data, and it was my job to be able to tell a story. And it was just honestly a very impactful experience for me. And at the very end, we also had to do one thing I really enjoyed about that experience is we had to do a presentation at the very end to the CEO of the company and leaders, and just kind of tell them one aspect that we would improve or our favorite part about the internship. And it was very well received, and you don't really get that experience to be able to talk to the CEO of a company and tell them what you feel about their organization, and them actually saving those presentations and using them later on. So a lot of co-ops, when I look back in general, we have an opportunity for any co-op position wherever you go to make a very large impact right from the get-go. As like 18, 19, 20-year-olds being able to do that, that's a huge kickstart for your career.
Oh yeah, and absolutely. And I absolutely value co-op in the sense that every co-op student, regardless of age or year, adds value to every corporation, even if it is from their perspective, from their young perspective, and seeing efficiencies and new ways of doing things. But I also loved how you described data and data analysis in terms of, we're getting data all the time, and there's more and more and more data. But I loved how you had described it in the sense of being able to synthesize that data to tell stories to your stakeholders, because there are stories, and it's a matter of being able to recognize the patterns and being able to see that data to translate it into stories that you can help to impact, add value, and or create efficiencies for organizations.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself, and I think a lot of that is again attributed to what we've learned in school as well. Because had it not been for some of the courses where we were dealing with data, and using Excel and using all the different tools that we were able to use at an early age, we wouldn't be able to really do that now in our careers as well. So it all comes back to that as well.
Excellent.